Hummingbirds seem to spring from the imagination. Small and bright, they have abilities no other creatures possess. Time seems to bend for them. They float suspended or fly backwards, their wings beating faster than the eye can see. Beneath their tiny, brilliant feathers, they are kung fu fighters, tender mothers, and some of the most dazzling aerial dancers in all the world. You're about to enter the hummingbird dimension, where life moves faster and shines brighter on these super little birds. Hummingbirds are found only in the Americas, and all through their range, flowers have come to rely on them for an essential service. They need a go-between to carry their pollen to another flower of their own kind so they can reproduce. And so they dust a visiting hummingbird's forehead with pollen, and the bird flies from flower to flower, pollinating as it goes. So close is their partnership, many blossoms have become a custom sleeve for hummingbird bills. The flowers have gambled their future on the little birds. Other pollinators who don't fly as far and as fast need not apply. The hummer's reward is sweet, nutritious nectar, their favorite food. Nectar is the high-octane fuel that keeps them in the air. But their fuel tanks are so small and their burn rate so high, a fill-up only lasts them 20 minutes. A hummingbird among flowers is on urgent business, zipping from bloom to bloom, seeking nectar before she runs out of fuel. Instead of drinking through a straw-like structure as many insects do, hummingbirds lap nectar up at an astonishing rate of 20 times a second. Their tongues move almost as fast as their wings. Feeding on flowers has shaped everything about the way they fly. To sip on nectar, hummers have had to master the most challenging feat in the air: hovering. Hovering requires hummingbirds to beat their wings up to 80 times a second. The search for nectar keeps them constantly in the air. They live right at the edge of the energetic trade-off between how much fuel they need to power their flight and the flight they need to find more fuel. Living on such a tight budget, it's a marvel that their stronghold is here in the wild terrain of the Andes. Flowers in full bloom are a call to arms. It's fight and flight, a display of skill and fiery tempers. The bills they dip daintily into flowers, they now wield as weapons. Gravity means nothing to them. High-speed maneuvers are a show of force. Wheeling, colliding, flying backwards. Now, they push themselves to the limit. Hearts racing at 1,200 beats a minute, lungs bursting. They spend every last molecule of oxygen, every ounce of fuel. But at 500 frames per second, their battles are a breathtaking ballet. Now and then, one stops at a flower for a sip of energy, or tries to. Ten gulps of nectar in half a second, and then back into the fray. As the day draws to an end, hummers face a dilemma. They need to rest. But even asleep, they'll burn too much energy to survive the night without constant refueling. So they do the only thing they can. They shut down and enter a state beyond sleep. It's called torpor. High in the Andes, a giant hummingbird sits motionless, snuggled deep into his feathers. His usual high-speed metabolism slows by as much as 90%. His heart rate drops from 1,000 beats a minute to a mere 70. His temperature falls from a feverish 104 to 46 degrees, close to the ambient nighttime temperatures in these high mountains. It's a state similar to hibernation, a winter he endures each night. Far above, a vast universe sparkles and spins, while hummingbirds everywhere, brilliantly conserving energy, wait for dawn.